and Aubrey was her name, a not so very ordinary girl or name, but who's to blame for a love that wouldn't bloom, and for the hearts that never played in tune, like a lovely melody that everyone can sing. Take away the words that rhyme, it doesn't mean a thing. And Aubrey was her name. We tripped the light and danced together to the moon. But where was you? No, it never came around, and if it did, it never made a sound. Maybe I was absent or was listening too fast, catching all the words, but then the meaning going past. But God, I miss the girl, and I'd go 1,000 times around the world just to be closer to her than to me. And Aubrey was her name. I never knew her, but I loved her just the same. I loved her name. Wish that I had found the way and the reasons that would make her stay. I have learned to lead a life apart from all the rest. If I can't have the one I want, I'll do without the best. But God, I miss the girl, and I'd go 1,000,000 times around the world just to say she had been mine for a day. Hello there. Welcome to another podcast, another talk. Sort of like a radio show this, if you think about it. And this is called Dangers of Rushing Your Spiritual Healing Path. Very important. Very, very important. Because many on this spiritual path, awakening this path, they want the fruitful things at the end. They want the twin flames, they want the energy orgasms, they want, they're wanting the bliss. And those things, tend to pull people. They pull people, all those kind of attractive things. But when they're pulling you, that arousal to get that, it's giving you a feeling of, I don't have that right now, and then you're feeling bad about yourself. And that feeling bad about yourself, that there is what the problem is. You see? That you feeling bad in this present moment because you think you don't have this or don't have that type of energy, don't have that type of experience. It doesn't have to be an energetic thing, it could be a materialistic, a physical thing. Now, so if you turn your attention to this lack feeling, that's where the attention should be, because you could have anything. There are people out there that have lots of money, that have attractive husbands or wives. They seem to have everything, yet they're unhappy. Right? But in the spiritual community, there's this thing where people are, they're trying to run before they can walk. And I've said this, I've done talks like this before. My journey began from an unexpected spiritual awakening. And it was obviously, I was, we're all chosen to a certain degree, but there's people out there people that have had these spiritual awakenings or are God's chosen people. Yeah, they are God's chosen people. Bible talks of 144,000. But they're going within themselves. And when you go, what does it mean to go within? It means you're healing yourself. You're healing these things. You're forced to be in solitude. I mean, you're just by yourself all the time. And in that, you don't really want to do it. You really don't. But you've reached a point where your frequency doesn't match anyone anymore. So you're alone. And so you're in this limbo state. And these people are the ones going within, because they don't have a choice in that situation. And you heal these core issues. The Kundalini thing, energy orgasms and that kind of divine power that people are trying to rush towards, that divine powers all awaken themselves. Those energies that you're thinking about, they awaken themselves through a path of inner healing and ascension, right? If you don't get rid of this muck, then it's still going to be there, right? I mean, there's drugs that exist and people can take them and get off their face for 24 hours, but the problems are still there. So we can actually take energy through a drug that makes you feel good, but then there's they call it a come down. You see? But when you do the proper healing, there doesn't ever have to be a come down. Every moment then is perfect. And this is what presence meditation does. When you can use presence all the time. If you train yourself to be in the present moment, you learn to love every moment. And everything becomes blissful, as that deepens. Because presence is a big part of the source. See, what's happened on your ascension path is the force of Gaia, the one infinite creator, is showing you what source is. So part of that is presence, absolute peace. There's love in there, there's sexuality there, but there's also a peace there as well. Sexuality, or imagine sexual romance, but without peace and harmony, would be not a very good experience. So that's another, the present thing is a very important element. So if you're trying to rush towards these sexual powers, these divine sexual powers, you're not getting to the real divine sexual powers, because the real divine sexual powers, the peace is there, and you can't have that peace until you've healed these issues. And like I say, many want to run before they can walk, because they're dealing with other people that haven't had a spiritual awakening yet. Sometimes you can be tricked into things, it's this path is full of little holes there and little things in the other direction, and it's so that you show how faithful you are to Gaia. It's like a test of your faith, a soul test. Like what's going on just now in the world. I can't speak too much about or anything, because I'm frightened I'll get my talk taken down. But it's a soul test, I can say that. But back to what I'm talking about, don't rush your path, because as soon as you rush, you're missing the presence. You see? And don't go thinking that I'm some guru or I've someone that's went within myself, but it's within you that knows everything, not me. It's within yourself, within your heart chakra. That is the power that I'm tapping into, but you can do it too. Right? There's no gurus here or masters. I mean, it's never been that way. We can't all ascend if we're thinking that way. But back to the talking hand. So when you find yourself rushing, meditate on the inner thing that's making you want to rush. When you're in solitude, that's what, like I said earlier on in the talk. Solitude really makes the deepest elements come out of you, the pains that you were unconscious of before. But yeah, in the spiritual community is a lot of people that, some people in the spiritual path can actually have energy, but it's not all the energy. Like I said, peace is a big element, but if you're trying to rush and you're calling for energies and everything, you're being so needy in that moment. You're not really appreciating the presence. You're not being at peace with what is. And that's a massive element that God and Source is. All life comes from this harmonious, unconditional love force. When you're needy like that, you're not being that force. So something darker can come in and manipulate you. You see? Something darker can enter when you're like this. And I'm not saying don't listen to, I would say the only thing to listen to what I'm saying is when I say go within, because I'm not your teacher or guru, but I'm someone that had an unexpected spiritual awakening, went within, and I'm still doing it. You see? And but yeah, I see a lot of this. Some people in their awakenings, they go through something which is like a trick, and they get energies, and sometimes you can think when you think that's when you don't know. That's when you've went mad. The trick on this path is to stay humble and know that you don't really know anything, because there's an infinity of knowledge. You see? But a lot of people on this energy road that I'm talking about, they're trying to activate something, and but what they've got right here is showing them what is an activation in itself. But they're not paying attention to that. They're paying attention to what their ego wants. You see? This is why people get depressed. So many people you see on about twin flames all the time. You see, and that's an example of what I'm talking about. making yourself depressed. You know, it's not that you got too much time in your hand, but you're just doing the wrong thing with your time. You know, because this hurt that you're feeling, that is within you. And that's an element that needs healed. Still going to be there no matter what you've got. You see? So the proper holy path is the within journey and healing these things. Right? And deal with things one step at a time, using presence, the present moment. The presence is a doorway into the Holy Source. That's what you're tapping into. And that's a massive element of what the Source is. And when you tap into the Source, you realize it's presence is a huge element. There's also love, there's sexuality involved, but not in the way that you will think. And this is the problem. When you're trying to seek some of these powers, these people have this perception that they're seeking something quite erotic or dirt or something like along those lines, because they're not doing the proper pathway. Right? But if you let that thing go, that ego thing, then the source of all life is there. And you're feeling the peace within that there's a peace there. So it's about letting go and just letting within you be your guide. You see? Don't rush anything. Forgive yourself if you do, but so yeah, I just thought this was important to do a talk on this. Because like I say, a lot of people are rushing their paths and they want this, they want that, they want all these attractive things. But when you're thinking like that, you're telling yourself that the present moment isn't good enough. And if it isn't good enough in your mind, then it will never be good enough. Because you'll always want more. And that's a massive element of divine love, is letting go. And just trusting that the source, the present moment, has got the best intentions for you. You know, that's a massive element of love there. Trust and faith in what is. You see, so work on that instead of, so when you feel that neediness, meditate on that neediness. Because, you know, if you don't meditate on it and heal it, it's still going to be there. And those energies you want, they awaken and align all by themselves when you go within. You don't need any external healer or teacher or whatever they're saying they are. The only genuine guru is that which is within your heart chakra. And I'm just going to leave it there for latest updates, talks, news, research, and much more. I'm doing songs all times, you heard at the start of this talk. Everything's on my website. New talk is always at the top of the home page and top of the videos page. Website address is www.lovelightfamily.com. Thank you.